السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته يا طلاب العلم كيف حالكم حياكم الله. Inshallah ta'ala, today we will go through a little bit of a demonstration of how to take notes, how to find evidences, and how to approach even taking notes and then revising and reviewing and memorizing, and how we even what structure we use to even go through a video. So I won't play too much of the video, but the one that I am using is episode 5, Seeking Knowledge, Approach, and Etiquettes from the Introduction to Studying with AMAU. Okay? And I will be using times around from 17 maybe to around maybe 24-ish. Okay? The evidences will come from there. So if you want to find the examples that I'm using. Okay? So, first, what is the approach? So the Sheikh, he comes and he talks, he mentions evidences, he explains them, and then he goes to another evidence, and then he mentions it and explains it, and so on and so forth, right? And that's all these lectures are. All they are is mentioning an evidence, mentioning the evidence in Arabic, translating it, explaining it, and then going on to the next one, generally, right? So these evidences are in Arabic. So how do we find them and how do we review them? How do we do all these things? First thing, when a sheikh he mentions a point or he brings in evidence, right? This is the most important thing we should, focus on are the evidences. When he mentions something, an ayah, a hadith, a statement, right? Do not just pause the video and then go and type it in and try to find it. Don't do that. Let the sheikh finish his thought, finish his explanation, finish his translation, okay? Once he finishes the translation and explanation of that one particular evidence, be it an ayah or hadith or something else, and then he says, okay, on to the next one. When he says, okay, on to the next one, or here's another evidence or another statement, that's when you pause the video. You pause the video, you say, okay, he just mentioned this statement and evidence and explanation. I understood it. I listened to him. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning of when he started to mention that hadith. Or let's just use a hadith for example. Go back to the beginning. Now is the time after you kind of understood it generally, is where you're going to take the notes and start going to your Google Doc. I use Google Docs. You go to your doc and you will start writing and everything. So you go to what he says, and he mentions the hadith. Sometimes it's a very long hadith. So do not get confused and think I need to type in this very, very long hadith in Arabic or I have to take the whole entire translation. No. All you need to do is take a little tarf of it, take a little piece of it, and try to take a piece that is unique to the hadith. Don't just take like قال Rasulullah and then try to find the hadith, because that's in every single hadith. Or don't just take like al-imanu billah or la ilaha illallah and then try to find the particular hadith that you're trying to look for and what the sheikh mentions. Rather, what you should do is find something that's a bit unique, that isn't very common, that might be, kind of just in this narration and maybe very few other narrations. If you can't, if you can't distinguish based on what is unique and not, just try to take a little bit more of the hadith in Arabic. And little tip, yes, you have to know Arabic. You have to kind of be familiar with the letters, be familiar with the sounds. How is it written? You have to get an Arabic keyboard, right? And if you're struggling at the beginning, that's actually okay. Ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala for help, and Allah Ta'ala will help you. And also, this is how you learn. You expose yourself, you try. It's going to be difficult in the beginning, but when you start trying, you're more familiar, it's easier for you, you know how to do it, you're in the rhythm, it becomes very, very easy, inshallah ta'ala, right? So take a little piece of what the Shaykh says, right? And let's say, for example, it's a hadith. Okay, he mentions the hadith of Wafd Abdul Qais, right? The story of the group of Abdul Qais. And he mentions part of it. The part that I picked, right, was nukhbiru bihi. Right, that was easy for me. That I knew that this is نخبر به. Okay? And it does not need to be this, but look, even like two small words, and I was actually surprised that it's very, very useful. So copy it. You don't need to copy it, but you can use it. And go to where you search it. Do you search it just in the Google search bar? No, you don't do that. What I suggest to you is go to sunnah.com. Sunnah.com and use their search bar. And sunnah.com, one thing you need to know is that it's very, very bad if you don't use quotation marks. So you have to use your quotation marks when you look for things. In Arabic, you have to get used to it. It'll show it like the cursor is all the way at the back, but you have to press the quotation mark there, and then it shows it. Good. Quotation mark, copy paste, quotation mark. Let's search it. Good. Now you have to be a bit careful. There's going to be many, many different riwayat that come, right? And you need to, figure out which one did the Sheikh bring. Because some of them are really different, even though they have the same thing. All of these are actually the same exact story. All of these are. But there could be some that are the completely different narration. So don't just come and just take it. You have to look at it. Firstly, we do not really look at Mishkat al-Masabih and Riyadh al-Salihin and Al-Lu'lu wal-Marjan. We don't really look at these secondary sources. We look at the primary sources: Bukhari, Muslim, Ibn Majah, Tirmidhi, and Nasai, Abi Dawud, and Nasai. Right? We look at all these. Right? So you have to go back. You have to read the Arabic. You cannot look at the translation to match it up. You have to read the Arabic, play the video, listen to what the Sheikh says, and go back and compare it. Because there are differences. And you should definitely get the same narration. And it's actually interesting. I don't think the Sheikh mentions where it's from. He doesn't even say it's from Bukhari. So this is actually the correct one. So I click on this one. You have to go, zoom in, read it, make sure it's the correct one, everything. So I click it. You can use this copy feature. And it's not written very well, but hadith text, Arabic, and translation. And that's pretty good. The reference will only contain the collection name and over. Yes, and that's fine. That's good enough. Concise Arabic translation. Now I can press this copy button. It copied. Come back. Right? And now I can delete this. That's fine. And we can say, okay, story of Waft Abd al-Qais. And you can describe what the Sheikh brought up for proof of this and that, whatever it may be. Paste it. Sahih Bukhari 53. Is all the Arabic, has the entire chain. I like to sometimes highlight certain parts that are important, highlight them so that I know what they are and what the very important part is. And then right after, under, you write your notes. My notes and explanations / questions. Whatever you want, you write here. Okay? Once you're done with this, you understand the hadith, you don't need to memorize the whole thing right now or focus on knowing the entire hadith right now. Just focus on the important thing, the thing that the Sheikh mentions, the part of the story that the Sheikh mentions, and what it means, and how he applies it. Write that down, and then bus, you're done. With the hadith, now you're done. Okay? And that's it. There are hadith that come more difficult where you have to actually, that don't come under Bukhari, Muslim, Ibn Majah, Tirmidhi. And you can use actually a different, like if you're really having trouble with this, you can try al-Bahith al-Hadithi. And I will leave this, and you can use this. You can type in the hadith, and then it shows up all the hadith that you need. And it's not bad either. Good. So that's for the hadith. What about ayat? Ayat generally are a lot easier, right? But I'll give you my suggestion. So the Sheikh, he mentions the ayah, I think maybe around here. Yeah, around here. He mentions the ayah in Surah Zumar, قال تعالى أمن هو قانت آناء الليل قائما وساجدا قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. So again, you don't need the full ayah, you don't need the full everything, just take a little piece of it. Just take the little piece of it that is useful for us, right? And my suggestion, if you really want to find it very well, use this website, tafsir.app. It's very, very good. It's called Al-Bahith Al-Qur'ani, and it's very, very good for finding ayat. It finds it perfectly. It's really good. So again, you need to know a little bit Arabic. Use your Arabic keyboard. Amman huwa, boom. It fills it in instantly. And you can take it, copy it, and paste it. There are little imperfections here and there you have to fix, but overall it's pretty good. And if you want to know exactly how the surah is right here, and the ayah is also right there, so you can say Zumar 9. Now what about the translation? Okay, translation, I take this and I do put it into Google, and it's pretty good. You just put it into Google, find Quran.com, and sometimes you have to like change your settings through some of these so that it gets like the actual one, or change the settings. Yeah, change your settings through here, so it gives you Sahih International. Use this, copy and paste, bus. That's it. And then under it you say my notes. These are my notes. Okay, and this is very, very good. I use the Bahith Al-Qur'ani app, this, and then I just type it into Google to find the translation. And then I use my explanation and notes. Now, what about statements of scholars? Statements of scholars are kind of the hardest ones, to be honest, because they're less established than ayat and hadith. Same, but similarly, you have to listen to it. And similarly, you don't have to take the entire thing, right? You just take a piece of it. So one statement he brings is of Imam al-Shafi'i, قال الشافعي شكوت إلى وكيع سوء حفظي فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي وأن علم نور ونور الله لا يهدى لعاصي وكما قال. So he reads this, and okay, I didn't memorize the whole thing, I didn't get the whole thing, maybe I have to go back a little bit, but take a little piece of it and write it down. شكوت إلى وكيع. Okay. And if you know Shafi'i said it, you can write it down. الشافعي. Copy it. And just normally for statements of scholars, I don't know of anything that just compiles them. I don't think that really exists, to be honest. And then you can generally find it. And the thing is, for statements of scholars, it doesn't really matter the source or where you find it from. For me, at least right now, all that matters is you get the exact wording. شكوت إلى وكيع سوء حفظي فأرشدني إلى ترك المعاصي وأخبرني بأن العلم نور ونور الله لا يهدى لعاصي. Exactly what the Sheikh said. Copy it, paste it. And then translations are very hard to find. Honestly, I would not even waste my time looking for translations. I would just translate it yourself based on what the Sheikh said. You just translate it. Here's my translation from the Sheikh. And then explanation, and then notes. right? And then when you're done with that, then you're done with this, right? And then also, if they mention like a scholar, you go and you can type in their name. Type in their name, okay? Ash-Shafi'i, Ash-Shafi'i, okay, Muhammad ibn Idris Ash-Shafi'i, that's exactly who the scholar he was talking about. And let's go, let's see when he died. This is the day he died. This is 150 after Hijrah. This is 204 after Hijrah. Right, so we can write Shafi'i died 204 after Hijrah. Done. Okay, so now this is how we do it. The Sheikh, he mentions a statement, he explains it, he translates it, he explains it. You will listen to all of that completely. You don't cut him off, right? Once he says, okay, I'm done, let me go to the next one, that's when you pause the video, you go back to the beginning, and then you try to take a piece, شَكَوْتُ إِلَى وَكِيعٍ سُوءَ حِفْظِي. You try to take even a little piece. You search it using the methods we used, the websites that we just used, and then take it, paste it, translate it, take your own notes. After you finish your own notes and you actually understand the evidence that is given to you, then you can say, okay, I'm done with this evidence, then I go to the next one. And continue to do this for the rest of the video, right? Now, question, this is good and that's good for finding things and everything, but how do I review? How often do I review? How do I do all these things, right? So, or how do I memorize? Once you finish this, you have to have some sort of way to come back to it. I won't speak about how often right now, but most importantly, you need to come back to it. Test after you finish the whole thing, you come back to it, you review it from the top, you memorize it. You memorize the parts in Arabic, you understand the translation and the understanding so then you can explain it, right? All of these things, while they're good to have it written down, really these things written down is just for you to have it as a reference. This right here that we have written down, it's not the ilm. This is not really the ilm. The ilm is in your heart. This is just a reference for you to take it from here and put it into your chest. Naam? So do not rely upon these things. They're just here for you to reference. But rather you need to take all of this and put it into your chest. So now you have everything written, you have all the translations, all the explanations, all the sources, everything, you know where to go to find it, you know everything about it, you know who said it, where it is, everything. Now you can memorize it, understand it, and everything. Okay? So this is a general methodology of how to take notes. Listen to the Sheikh, let him complete what he's saying, then go look for it. After you look for it, put it down, then continue. Once you finish the full lesson, then go back to the beginning and start memorizing. Okay, memorizing and understanding, which you can explain it without looking. Okay, these are the things that I like to do, what I think is really good. So inshallah ta'ala, I hope this was of some benefit. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.